Over the past year, we've seen weakness, self-loathing, and self-destruction on a scale previously unthinkable. A military obsessed with equity to all and only being politically correct. I said, so let me ask you, is a general, good, strong General Patton, how do you think he'd like this military? General Douglas MacArthur, would General Patton be allowed to shout at a private who was doing a horrible thing? Sir, we don't think that would be appropriate. Oh, really? Oh. I don't think, Jim Jordan, that would work out too well, would it, huh? Wouldn't work out too well. A Department of Homeland Security actively aiding illegal immigration and, in many cases, criminals coming into our country. Criminals, absolute criminals. A Department of Energy and Interior forcing us to be reliant on foreign energy at a cost that is not acceptable to our nation and not sustainable. A Department of Justice waging war on an opposing party and patriotic parents. As grave as the dangers are abroad, it's the destruction within that spells our doom. We must get this reversed. Our most dangerous people are people from within. These are people that must hate our country because they make us weak and they make our country unsustainable as a nation itself. Unbelievably, Biden is now claiming that you must sacrifice through higher energy prices to foot the cost of his failed foreign policy in Europe. I saw John Kerry on television, and we're talking about energy. We need oil, we need gas, we need everything. No, no, no. No, no, global warming, global warming. We have a world that's ready to blow up and disintegrate over energy, and he's talking about global warming. The oceans may rise over the next 300 years, 1/100th of an inch. Giving you slightly more seafront property. And this is his problem. He's not thinking about the nuclear warming. He's thinking about other types of warming. These people are not living in a world of reality. The reason we've got soaring gas prices is that Biden shut down American energy, canceled our oil and gas leases just 2 days ago. 2 days ago, they canceled many oil and gas leases because of the environment. It's really unbelievable. And canceled the Keystone XL pipeline that I approved, while he enriched Putin by approving the Russian pipeline, which has really been at the core of much of the problem we have right now. And I fought Angela. I said, Angela, here is a white flag, happened to be a white napkin that was on my desk. I said, Angela, you can have it. She said, but why? I said, because you're getting 75%, and I think it's higher than that, but it will be, 75% of your energy from Russia. And as you probably know through history, you've had some rather major conflicts with Russia. And if you ever have a conflict with Russia, you will be able to wave the white flag and surrender because they supply your energy. And I knew that would happen. I just never had any idea it was going to happen so fast. Now Biden is pleading with OPEC and begging Iran to re-enter the disastrous nuclear deal. With Biden, you get a war in Europe and a war on American energy. With Republicans, you get energy independence and energy dominance. We will reclaim our status as the #1 energy superpower on the face of the earth, something that I had achieved for the first time in 72 years. I was very proud of that. They ended it almost immediately. We would have been bigger than Russia and Saudi Arabia combined ×2 in 1 year. We were already bigger. We were doing things that we had never done before. And we should not be buying Russian energy. but rather allow the people of our country to start producing like they did just 1 year ago. That's all we have to do. This will drive prices down, drive inflation down. You want to get rid of inflation or bring it way down? Reduce the cost of energy. That's the single biggest factor having to do with inflation. And what has happened in Ukraine is a catastrophic disaster, but it isn't really that interesting that so many Democrat politicians in Washington, they seem to be rushing to microphones to declare that Ukraine's borders are sacred. They want to say their borders are sacred. And we feel for Ukraine in so many ways, but Ukraine's sovereignty must be defended at all costs, they say, even while they're destroying our own borders and surrendering our own sovereignty. We have a border that's a catastrophe. We have people coming into our country that we don't want. They will not be good for our country. You will be paying a price for many, many years to come. We have terrorists that came out of Afghanistan with the plane. Remember, they said, oh, the planes are coming in. The people that rushed the planes, those are very energetic people. Those are people that you will be paying a big, big price for in years to come. The most important duty of every elected lawmaker is to protect and defend America, and that begins with protecting and defending America's borders. Under Joe Biden, we're losing our country no different than if we had lost it in a war. No different. No different. Millions of people are pouring in, descending on our communities, camping in our towns, depleting our resources, flouting our laws, and bringing crime, drugs, and death to the streets of our cities and communities. And they're not only coming from Central and South America, they're coming from all over the world, over 160 countries. In many cases, from jails that are being emptied into our country as though we are a dumping ground. We're not the United States. We're considered a dumping ground for criminals. The Biden administration has spent months obsessing over how to stop an invasion of a foreign country thousands of miles away. I believe Americans deserve a president who will stop the invasion of our country also. And we had it stopped 1 year ago. We had it stopped. We had it stopped 1 year ago. You can't defend Western civilization if you would not be able to defend your own civilization. And that means we need borders that work, elections that are fair and free and not rigged, and crime that must be immediately stopped in our cities. And we must immediately stop the influx of illegal aliens. Has to stop immediately. Our country is being poisoned from within. The Biden administration cares more about helping citizens of a distant foreign nation than it does about our own citizens, because our country is a mess. Our country is a dangerous place, and it's getting worse and worse every day. And when you hear 3 million people this year, it's not 3 million. It's probably 3 to 4 times that number. It's probably 10 million, 11 million, or 12 million. But the real truth is they have no idea what it is. Yet if the radical Democrats truly want to fight for democracy abroad, if they want to look abroad and fight for what they want to fight for, which I don't think they do, they should start with the democracy that is under threat right next door, a place called Canada. Where, by the way, we got rid of NAFTA, and we have the USMCA, that's Mexico and Canada, one of the greatest deals we ever made. And I know it's great because they want to renegotiate the deal. That was a horrible deal. NAFTA was the worst trade deal ever made, and now we have probably the best trade deal ever made, but they want to renegotiate, and they probably will do it. This administration, oh, sure, that's not putting America first. We put America first. It's a great deal. They should leave it. They've been ripping us off for 30 years. It's time for us to do well. The tyranny we have witnessed in Canada in recent weeks should shock and dismay people all over the world. In an advanced Western democracy, the peaceful movement of patriotic truckers, workers, and families protesting for their most basic rights and liberties has been violently put down. Their assets and life savings have been frozen. They have been slandered as Nazis, racists, and terrorists. These are the names they've been called. They've been arrested and charged with phony crimes. They've been falsely accused of loyalty to foreign powers. I watched them. I saw those maple leafs all over the flags and the love for their country. Plenty of Americans were there, too, and they love our country. They're being hunted down like enemies of their own government and treated worse than drug dealers and murderers or rapists. A line has been crossed. You're either with the peaceful truckers or you are with the left-wing fascists. And that's what's been happening. And it's been a strong line. We stand with the truckers, and we stand with the Canadian people in their noble quest to reclaim their freedom. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much, and thank you, Linda. Good job. Right here in our own nation, it's also far past time to declare independence from every last COVID mandate. It's time. It's time. And you know, as early as when it first happened, I let the governors make that decision. And we had some governors that did a great job, and we had some governors that didn't do a very good job. But I can tell you that the Republican governors did quite well, thank you, quite well. And a big, big difference also on crime. You look at where the crime is, and you don't see the word Republican very much, if at all. With one voice, Americans must insist that the emergency is over, and we will submit to this left-wing tyranny no longer. We will not do it any longer. They're causing so much damage to people and to our children. The people who are masking our children may plan to lift those mandates right before the election, thinking they'll get some votes, but we will never forget what they did to our children. We will hold them accountable at the ballot box this November. As everyone here understands, the COVID mandates are just one part of a much larger crisis. The radical left is trying to replace American democracy with woke tyranny. They want to do the same thing to America that Trudeau has been doing to Canada, and much, much worse. Our mission in 2022 and in 2024 is to take on this radical and power-hungry ruling class and to deliver them an electoral defeat so resounding that they are exiled into political oblivion, never, ever to return again. Joe Biden, Chuck Schumer, and crazy Nancy Pelosi are the sinister faces of this corrupt and lawless political establishment. They enrich their families in Ukraine, China, Russia, while they shutter your small businesses right here at home. They send young Americans to fight and die for the borders of distant foreign nations while they throw our borders open to an illegal foreign invasion, which is what is happening. They set violent criminals loose without charges while prosecuting their political opponents for fabricated crimes. They legalize mass robberies and cheer for BLM and Antifa rioters, ransacking our cities while they hold nonviolent protesters without trial, destroy their lives. They lift sanctions on Iran while they sanction and destroy our own citizens. They try to silence voices like Joe Rogan for alleged misinformation while they perpetuate the most flagrant hoaxes and monstrous lies like the Russia, Russia, Russia hoax. How was that? For 3 years, we had to put up with the Russia, Russia, Russia hoax. It was a total hoax. They indoctrinate your children to hate their parents while calling you a hateful racist. They stick the FBI on mothers at school board meetings while they teach 4-year-olds to pick their own genders. Would you like to change your gender? And they say it's absolutely fine for a boy or man to participate in women's sports. I don't think so. They use big tech to censor you. They use the deep state to spy on you. They use the intelligence agencies to frame you. They use the media to slander you. They use the legal system to persecute you. It is a persecution. To disenfranchise you and destroy you and ruin your lives. I've seen the anger and the hatred and the horror at the 2020 election. All the while they claim as they are the ones defending democracy. They say they are the ones that are going to defend your democracy and your justice. It's a lot of bullshit, that's what it is. When we win, we will defeat this corrupt political establishment. We will save our republic, and we will restore constitutional government of, by, and for the people. The Washington swamp knows that we are coming to break their grip on power forever. That is why they are so desperate to stop us. They will go to any lengths. And that is why the corrupt Democrat prosecutors, an unconstitutional, unselect committee on January 6th, the unselect committee. Can you imagine a committee made of these thugs? They hate us all. Is there ever been a committee like this? The unselect committee. I think that was my term. I think I came up with it first. I'm very proud of many of our terms. But they're continuing their evil and demented persecution of me, my family, my staff, my supporters, and you. It's the same witch hunt that's been going on since day one, since actually the day that I came down the escalator with our great future First Lady. Now we know that crooked Hillary not only spied on my campaign, she spied on the White House. Do you remember when I said years ago, I think they spied on my campaign, and everybody said on the other side, how dare he say that? How dare he? Well, it turned out to be true. And I want to thank John Durham for figuring that out. And I believe that's just a foundation on which a lot of very bad things are going to be learned about what took place. Everything they're doing to me is about preserving their power and control over the American people. If I renounce my beliefs, if I agreed to stay silent, if I stayed at home, if I said I'm not going to run, the persecution would stop immediately. They'd go on to the next victim. Who's next? But they'll never, ever do what they did to me. And nobody else, I don't believe, would be able to take it if they did. I have had that a lot. I've had great people come up to me and tell me, sir, may I please ask you a question? Yes, what would you like to know? Sir, how did you take it? How did you take it? How did you take what they did to you? And in many ways, I can't answer that question. But there's never been anything like this ever done to an American president before. But I can't do any of those things because I love this country. We love this country, and we're going to bring this country back, and it's going to be bigger and better and stronger than ever before. But remember, they're coming after me because I'm standing up for you, and that is it. I'm standing up for you. In 2022, we're taking on this wretched and corrupt political establishment like never before, and we've learned a lot over the last 4 years. We've learned how corrupt they are. Nobody can even believe it. If you wrote a book or a novel, and it was all just printed out like this, with Crooked Hillary, with the Mueller report, which was okay, we like it. Did it find no collusion? But with all of the things that you've seen, all of the horrible things that you've seen, the corruption, the spying, it was spying. It's probably worse than spying. It's treason. It's everything you can have. If anybody ever wrote a novel, the great James Patterson, if he ever wrote a novel like this, it wouldn't sell because people would say, no, it's not believable. This could never happen. And it's worse. They're finding out things now that nobody even thought were possible. We're going to end Nancy Pelosi's political career once and for all. And then we're going to kick the Biden crime family out of the White House in 2024 or sooner. But even our Supreme Court justices, and it's sad to say this, are afraid to do what has to be done to save our country. They're trying so desperately to be politically correct and to be loved by all. These are the justices of the United States Supreme Court. They are terrified of the radical left. They are afraid of packing the court so that they are only one of 15, 19, or even 25 justices. And at any cost, they don't want to be impeached. Please don't impeach me. I don't want to be impeached. I'm a Supreme Court judge. Please don't impeach me. I'm a justice of the Supreme Court. Don't impeach me, please, for being with a woman that I never heard of before. Women that he didn't know, women that a particular Justice Kavanaugh had no idea who they were. But you know what? He's lived through hell, and he's afraid. I believe he's afraid. I believe he's afraid to do the right thing. I really do. You know the expression? They play the ref. They play the ref. They said not so long ago, we're going to impeach him for something, and then they found out. The woman got up. She said, well, he never did anything wrong. They said, we don't care. We're going to impeach him anyway. These are vicious people. These are vicious people, and we can't let this go on. They have to gain strength. They have to gain new courage, and they have to stand up for freedom and stand up for what is right. They can no longer be afraid of the radical left, our Supreme Court, and our judges generally.